Locked. Maybe we could do that.
Assassin's Creed Unity has you playing as Arnaud Dorian, the new assassin in France, or as I like to think of him as the new Ezio. They share a lot of similarities between the two, almost too many similarities. Other than looks, they have some of the same personality traits, and they kind of have the same upbringing, being in the shadows of their father's lifestyle. Then certain events unfold, then they're exposed to what is the truth of Templars versus assassins, and then he himself becomes part of the Assassin's Brotherhood. Now, some of the cool story aspects of it were that they brought back an assassin council. So there's elders. There's a whole the Brotherhood's a whole. You're not rebuilding it from the ground up like in other games. It's already there. It's established, and you're part of it. You don't have to recruit anyone. Now, I don't want to spoil too much of the story, but it's kind of like Assassin's Creed 2 story, but has a spice of romance in there, as that romance motivates Arno into doing things as part of the Assassin Brotherhood. Now, to go away from the story and go towards the other gameplay aspects, they changed the control schemes as usual when a new Assassin's Creed game comes out. The parkour mechanics changed a bit. You can now run up and run down, each of them obviously giving the direction of where you want to go, and well, it just makes for a faster escape. And they brought stealth into it. You can now crouch, you can hide behind cover, but you can no longer lure enemies to the cover so that way you can kill them there. But you can alert them to your position, where it'll leave a little ghostly trail for you to follow that new stealth games that are adapting now as little ghost figures, so that way the enemy goes to where it last saw you. Although for some reason now you cannot pick up bodies anymore. Like, they added certain stealth mechanics, but you can no longer pick up the body and move it to hide it from the enemy, so that way they don't get alerted or anything. But they really don't get alerted. It just lures them to the position, and it's kind of just like bait. So I guess they also brought back lockpicking from Assassin's Creed 3, where instead of it being wait for the vibration, it's now, here's the little scale thing, watch so it goes in the highlight area. It's a fun little mini game. It's a lot easier with the skills that you unlock, but I'll talk about the skills later. Eagle Sense also got an upgrade now. It's like a pulse. You shoot it around, and it highlights the enemies all around in that are in your radius. And as you walk around, the radius will follow you, and it'll highlight them, and they'll go away for a short time. Then it has to recharge, and you can do it again. So that way you can see where enemies are through the wall, so you can anticipate where they're going to walk next. So that way you can map out where you want to go. Combat got a lot of changes to it. Instead of like in Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag, you can no longer just anticipate, slow down time, and wait for the opportunity to strike and just go on a killing spree of combos. It is now patient. You have to be patient with it, because you can't just run into a situation and just hopefully kill all of the guys. If there's more guys, you probably end up dying because you're outnumbered, which adds value for sneaking around. But anyway, the combat didn't get harder. The enemies just got smarter and will now attack more frequently and attack constantly. If they get one hit on you, chances are they'll keep hitting you until you're dead. And even if you do get in the last split of health, chances are you will bleed out from that. So you might want to stock up on medicine, which they did bring back, so you no longer have to run from combat and regen. You can just heal up on the spot. Assassin's Creed Unity also brings in a whole bunch of customization. You can customize almost anything in the game. You can customize the color scheme of the assassin, you can customize the hood type, the shirt type, the belt type, the assassin blade type, and the pants type, each contributing to a certain stats menu. Like, certain pants will give you more stealth, as opposed to some other pair of pants that'll give you more health, or make you more mobile for combat and melee and stuff like that. As you do certain tasks around Paris, you end up getting little Assassin's Creed points, like skill point type things, and so that'll allow you to upgrade your assassin in certain skills, like lockpicking. You can now do like level 3 lockpicking. You can now use ranged weapons. That is a skill. You don't get pistols right off the bat. You have to unlock the skill. So it's all about the skills, because you can unlock certain health. That's where you unlock more health. They got rid of the crafting system, replaced it with the skills. And some of those skills actually will help out in the co-op missions, as it allow you for everyone to see your eagle vision, or allow everyone to, if you gather around, you can heal everyone. Now, while I'm on the topic of co-op missions, I actually had a lot of fun playing it. Even though they were with complete strangers, I still had a lot of fun with it. Just to look in the corner of my eye and see another assassin friend waiting in the shadows to strike. even though there is no way to communicate with anyone. Like, not that I know, like, for right now, there is no TeamSpeak, there is no chats. You cannot communicate with one another. You cannot say, hey, I'm gonna go kill this guy, you go kill that guy. There's none of that. It's kind of like, hopefully you guys understand what you guys want, so, but stealthing around is never really gonna happen. You're always gonna go loud and proud. You're always gonna go stabbing everyone, as the true assassin way. But I'm sure with friends, it's 1,000 times better, as you'll be able to communicate with each other, but you'll also be able to set certain skill points and bring certain weapons to the fight, so that way each of you brings a certain piece to the party. I found it useful that the game didn't force upon you co-op missions. They were just there if you want to play them, and you don't have to play them co-op either. You can play them privately if you really want to. But I thought that was great. I thought the beginning was like, oh, they're going to force upon co-op. No, they don't. There's not even that many co-op missions to begin with, and most of them are 2-player instead of 4-player. And the guys you see in the commercial, they're not really characters. The only character is Arno, and the other guys are just assassin friends. They're no one really. Kind of nobodies. They're just, oh, this guy's player 1, this guy's gotta be someone else. That meaning, the co-op missions did replace the competitive multiplayer, which, to be honest, I never played. I don't think anyone else ever played. It was kind of useless, so I'm glad they got rid of that. They also reduced the amount of reactions in the real world. It is only like mentioned that the real world exists. You always play as an assassin. You never have to leave anything to go do some meaningless task. You're always playing as an assassin. And there's none of that first civilization. It's the only thing there is the Piece of Eden way. Now, my overall gameplay experience, it was great. Like, the graphics were, well, I was running it on PC, so the graphics were the best they can be, so of course they'd be great. Because, well, when you're running things in the best settings, they're going to be the best settings. But that also came with a price, because I suffered through frequent crashings. And I know it wasn't my PC because it can handle almost anything. Almost. It would and the only time it would crash is when it would load, I guess something epic was happening, because it would only crash, well, this doesn't happen anymore, but it would crash when I would try to fast travel and it would try to load in the entire scene, and I guess it couldn't handle it. It would also crash a lot during cutscenes. And one time it crashed during it was just a walking sequence. I got scared because every time I loaded up that sequence, it just froze. It wouldn't even load up. And then eventually, by some miracle, it loaded up. But anyway, if you plan on intending on buying it for the PC, be prepared for a lot of crashes. Unless they come out with a content patch, there's going to be a lot of crashes. It's hard for words to describe how much fun it is to explore this area, because there's the really nice looking palaces area, the palaces that are all around, and the really nice gardens. Then you have the civilian districts, and then you have more of the run-down places that are affected by the revolution that's happening. But Paris itself is just fantastic. But the map itself, the map has actually changed quite a bit. Instead of just being a flat map, it's actually a 3D map, so it's easier to see where things are, as you can now actually go inside buildings and explore the insides of certain buildings, and which then would be useful to have a 3D map so you could find out where a treasure chest is. Although most of the time when playing through it, I found a lot of Uplay things. Like every so often, something about Uplay would pop up, and I don't know if there's an option to turn it off. I could be making a mistake that I didn't turn the option off, but these Uplay things would pop out every time. It's like, oh, you have unused skill points. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to save them up. Don't bother me. Or it'd be like, you need to be connected. So if it's like you get disconnected from the internet, be prepared for a lot of messages that says you're not connected to Uplay. Even if you get it on Steam, you have to go through Uplay to play the game. In the end, I thought the game was just phenomenal. Everything about it was just great. From the customization, from the outfits you can wear, from the weapons you can use. In the end, I thought the game was just phenomenal. Words cannot describe how much I love this game. Every time I'm away from the game, I want to be playing the game. So it's got me there. If you have a next-gen console, I absolutely recommend getting it. Or if you have a PC that can handle it, I absolutely recommend it. This concludes my review. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.